Hey everyone, and welcome to Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Today we're going to be continuing doing our Cozy Cottage Afghan from Annie's. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are going to be continuing making this Afghan. So far in this series this week, we have done block 13, 14. Today we're going to be doing 15. So these videos are a supplement to this kit. If you have not checked out this kit yet, I would suggest checking this out. It's a monthly subscription. It's also a bi-monthly subscription, so you can change the frequency to ship every 2 months, twice a month or once a month. And there's about 10 kits on here, and each kit is about $27 and some change. So it is kind of pricey, but if you were to buy a handmade Afghan at a store, if they even sell those anymore, those are pretty penny too. But yeah, so it's something to look for into. I like it so far because each block has been one stitch, and if you're a beginner, you get to practice that stitch over and over till the block is done. So, you know, in theory, when you're done with this whole Afghan, you're gonna have about 30, I think maybe 30, at least 30 different patterns that you know offhand that you can use making your own, what have you. So it's a good piece to kind of learn off of if you can get the kits. But yeah, so these videos are meant to supplement the instructions. I will go over new stitches at least 3 times, step by step, and then I'll go through the rows of instructions and trying to sort through if anything is a bit confusing. The first kit that you'll get comes with a large and small needle, and then it also comes with a set of stitch markers. I would highly recommend getting a bunch of these as well, because you never know if you're gonna need more. These are all from the kits that I've done since, you know, starting these kits last year or the year before probably. So, but yeah, always keep your tools because you never know if you're gonna need them again. But yeah, so let's get started. I'm just gonna dump these markers out for when I need them, and then for this block we're going to be using the larger hook, and it also comes, I forget, so the first kit comes with the hooks, the markers, I think there's needles in there, and then it also comes with spools of yarn. And then every kit after, you just get the yarn with some instructions. But yeah, so this is one of the spools of yarn that came in the kit. It's nice and soft. It's done through Premiere. And what I like to do with these spools is get the end that's on the inside of the spool. So you can grab it from the outside, but you're gonna have to remove this, and then it's gonna roll around. When you get it from the inside, it stays put and it just draws from the inside. So when you initially do this, it might be a little scary, but I'm just gonna grab a chunk of this out. Sometimes I get lucky and it's not a lot. Other times I grab a huge chunk, like now. Oop. Apologies. Yeah, so we have this much, but we got the end out, and then once we use this up, then we start pulling out from the spool, and see, it doesn't move. So it's something to definitely look into. You also want to make sure that sometimes the outside end, I don't know where it is right now, they'll tuck it into one of the ends of the spool, you want to make sure that that's removed so that when you start pulling, it doesn't accidentally get caught and tangled up in there. So let me just quickly situate myself here. I'm just going to run this in the opposite direction to remove any potential tangles. So if you have not seen the previous 2 videos for this week, definitely check those out. It's, you know, obviously for the other blocks, but I do also explain the same bits there, in case, you know, you want to look back at that. But anyway, all right, so let's just start this. What we have to do is cast on with the slip knot. So we're gonna take our yarn here, and we're gonna use our ring and pinky and thumb to hold one end, and then our index and middle to hold the other. You want to grab your hook, and we're going to lie it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to get a loop around the hook. You can slide the hook up and down the yarn here. What we want to do is slide it down towards your thumb. We're going to take our middle finger and just place it where it crosses, because we're going to let go of our left hand. We're going to gather up some yarn on our feeder yarn. Then you can re-pinch the end down here, and then we're going to slide the hook farther down towards the thumb, and once we get there, we can pinch right where it crosses so that you can no longer move your hook up and down the yarn. Now we're going to yarn over, which is putting this feeder yarn over the hook. So yarn over like that. Then we're going to pull this strand through this loop, and then I'm going to overhand my hook, re-pinch that end, and I'm going to push this knot towards my left thumb. You want to keep pushing it down until you can not push the knot down any longer. And once you get to that point, you can take your thumb and middle finger and just pull on this excess piece to make your knot just a little bit more snug. You don't have to pull it too hard. But then I'm going to take the knot and I'm going to slide it towards the hook. I want to leave a little bit of space so that we can start doing our stitches. And that's a slip knot. Okay. So let's start these instructions here. We have to do chain spaces. So how you do that is you want to anchor your project by holding on to the knot. So take your middle finger and thumb and just hold down the knot. If you don't do that, it's going to be rolling around. It's going to be hard to do anything. So grab the knot like this. Then what we're going to do from here is yarn over. So put this feeder yarn over the hook. Then we're going to pull this strand through this loop like that. So now we have our first chain. So each chain stitch is made up of 3 loops. We have a loop here, a loop here, and if you turn it on its side, you have this back loop right here. So let's do this again. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull this through the loop. So now we have 2 chains, and they have loops on this side, loops on this side. You want to turn it on its side, and you can see the back loops right here. These are the back humps. And we're going to do one more with you guys. So yarn over, we're going to pull this through the loop, and we have 3. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to go and continue the rest of these chains. All right, once you get all the chains, you can go back and just double check the count. So we're going to start from the hook. You don't want to count the one that's on the hook, you're going to count the stitch that's next to it. Okay. So now that we have all of our stitches, we're going to start our first new stitch. So we're going to be doing a V-stitch, and we're going to start this at the 5th chain from the hook. So the first 4 chains are going to count as the first double crochet stitch and a chain 1. All right, so we're going to count 5 chains from the hook. 3, 4, 5. So that would be here. I'm just going to pinch this so I know where I need to go. All right, now from here we're going to start our V-stitch. What you want to do is a V-stitch comprises of a double crochet stitch, 2 chains, and another double crochet stitch in the same stitch. So this 5th chain here, it's going to be very busy. So let me teach you how to do a double crochet stitch. So what you want to do is yarn over. We're going to stick our hook into the 5th chain from the hook, and you see how I told you about the parts of the stitch? We have a loop here, you turn it on its side, and then there's a back loop or hump here. I put my hook into the back hump. So what we're going to do is, we did that yarn over, we're going to stick our hook into the 5th chain from the hook in this back hump. Okay, just that back hump. Now as I'm slipping this onto the hook, we have that 1 loop here. Turn it upside down. You're going to see the nice braiding that we have. This hook is just under that braid, so that's why we do it. We want to retain this nice looking edge. So once we're here, we're going to yarn over again. So yarn over, we're going to pull this strand through this loop. Then we're going to yarn over. We're going to pull this strand through these 2 loops. And then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull this strand through these 2 loops. So we did our first double crochet stitch. Again, these first 4 chains, 3 of them will make a double crochet stitch, and then the 4th chain will be our single chain stitch. And that's what it just says in the instructions, in case you're wondering. Alright, so let's complete this V-stitch. Now we have to do 2 chains. So go in, yarn over, we're going to pull through this loop and create 1 chain, and then we're going to yarn over and do it again, pull through the loop, we have 2 chains. So once you make 2 chains, we have to do 1 more double crochet stitch. So let me show you how to do that again. We're going to yarn over, you're going to stick your hook back into this loop here that we just used, the 5th chain from the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And they call it a V-stitch because, as you see, it's making a V. Alright, so that's it. We just completed the V-stitch. So now we have instructions that are in brackets, and what it's telling us to do is SK. So SK means we're going to skip. So it's asking you to skip the next 2 chains, 1, 2, And then we're going to be creating the puff stitch. So let's just stop here. I mean, the bracket is pretty big, I think. Yeah, pretty big, but we're going to stop here because I'm going to show you how to skip stitches, and then I'm going to show you how to do a puff stitch. So we're skipping 2 chains. So skip the next 2 chains here. Here's 1, here's 2. We're going to put our next stitch into this one next to it. Now we're going to do the puff stitch. So how you do that is we're going to yarn over. You're going to stick your hook into that chain, okay? And then we're going to do another yarn over, and we're going to pull up a loop, okay? Then we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to put our hook back into that same loop that we used. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then we're going to do this again one more time. So yarn over, put your hook into the same loop, and then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have a bunch of these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have 7 loops, and then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 7 loops like this, and then we're going to chain 1. So yarn over, pull through the loop, and we have our chain 1. So it's going to give you this nice puffy pom-pom of a stitch here, and then we have our V-stitch next to it. So that is that. Now we're going to continue on with our brackets, this bracket instruction. We're going to skip another 2 chains, and then we're going to do a V-stitch in the next one over. So skip the next 2 chains. Here's 1, 2. We're going to put our next stitch in here, and then we're going to do our V-stitch now. So again, the V-stitch is a double crochet stitch, 2 chains, and another double crochet stitch. So yarn over, we're going to stick our hook into that chain. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to do our 2 chains. So 1, 2. Then we're going to do 1 more double crochet stitch in that same stitch. So we have our yarn over, we're going to put the hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we have our next V-stitch. So it looks like we're making a pattern between the V-stitch, puff stitch, V-stitch, and then I'm assuming the next one's a puff stitch. But we finished the bracket. So we're supposed to do this all the way across. And then we're going to stop when we hit a stopping point, and then we're going to move on to the next instruction. But so we're going to have to repeat this back bracket. So whenever you see a bracket, it's like this around your instruction. I'm like showing you with my hands. That is going to identify that you'll have to repeat that so many times indicated. Sometimes you'll also see the asterisk, but in this case we're working with brackets. So let's repeat the brackets all the way down, and I am going to show you, like I said, at least 3 times these stitches. So we're going to do 2 more of the puff and 1 more of the V. All right. And my voice is cracking, it's crazy. Alright, so we're going to skip the next 2 chains and we're going to do a puff stitch. So skip these 2, 1, 2, we're going to put our hook into this one next. So let's do our puff stitch. We're going to yarn over and put our hook into that stitch. Alright, then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and put your hook back into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to do this one more time. So yarn over, put your hook into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all the loops. And then we're going to yarn over and chain 1 to close this off. And we've completed our second puff stitch. Alright, so now we're going to move along here. Our next one is our last V-stitch with you guys, and then I'm going to do the rest on my own. But skip 2, 1, 2. We're going to put our hook into this one next. So yarn over, put your hook into that stitch. Again, the V-stitch comprises of a double crochet stitch, a chain 2, and another double crochet stitch. So you want to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to do our 2 chains, 1, 2, and we're going to do one more double crochet stitch. Yarn over into that same chain, put in your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we have done now 3 V-stitches. I'm going to do one more puff stitch with you guys. Alright, so let's skip the next 2 chains, 1, 2, or let's do a puff stitch. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to put our hook into this stitch. Alright, then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over, put your hook into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and then one more time, yarn over, put your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you should have 7 loops on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all the loops off your hook, and then we're going to yarn over, chain 1, and we've closed off our puff stitch. So now you should have 3 of each. So I'm going to continue the rest down and we're going to stop at the last 2 stitches. Alright, so I finished going down this row here. In the last bit, we're going to do a double crochet stitch. So we're going to yarn over, you're going to skip your chain stitch there, and then we're going to do our last double crochet stitch for this row. So if you see you've got a little fuzz from that excess piece, try to flatten this down over the hook like this, right? Because when we yarn over, it's going to squish it down too. But yarn over, we're going to pull up a loop, and that should secure that excess piece. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over and pull the last 2 loops. So here we have our first row done. Just so that I mark this for myself, I'm going to grab a marker, and we're going to slip this underneath the stitch and close this off to indicate the last stitch we made. That's just for myself. You don't have to do that, but it's nice practice. Make sure you clear your yarn. You don't want to pierce the middle of your yarn. So it's all clear. Then we're going to turn our project. So when we do a row, if you're a righty, all the stitches are going to be on your left, and then we go down the row like you saw, and then when we're done, all our stitches are to our right. So there's no more stitches left to go. So in order to do the next row, we have to turn it. So we're literally just going to turn this over so that we now have more stitches on our left that we can work to get to our right. Okay, so for round 2, we have to do a chain 3. And in the instructions, this explains it as well, but each chain 3 at the beginning of a row is equivalent to a double crochet stitch. This 3 chains is typically the height of a double crochet stitch. So let's do our chains, and then we can start the rest of the instruction here. Okay, so we're going to be doing a puff stitch in the chain space of the V stitch below. So they're talking about this. This is the chain space. Here's the V stitch. We're going to do a puff stitch in here. So go ahead and we're going to yarn over, and you're going to stick your hook into the middle of the V, and we're going to do our puff stitch. Okay. And then once we've done that, we can move on to the next steps. All right, so now we have brackets. And in the brackets, we're going to do our V stitch. And we're going to do this on top of our puff stitch. So from the row below. So we're going to yarn over and do our V stitch, and we're going to insert our hook at that chain 1 of our puff stitch. So put in your hook, and let's do our V stitch. Okay. And then it looks like we're just going to be alternating all the way down. So since we already know our stitches, I'm just going to do this all in silence. We're going to come back to row 3. Alright, so down the line, the last thing that we have to do is a double crochet stitch at the end here. So, the way we have this, we have our three, 1, 2, 3 for the double crochet stitch, and then the chain space. So we're going to stick our hook in there. Well, let me double check. And last stitch and turn. Okay, so we're gonna put our double crochet stitch in the third chain here. So if you remember, we did our V-stitch at the 5th one. We have our chain space, and then we have the 3 to make the height of the double crochet stitch. You're gonna stick it at the 3rd stitch. So from the V-stitch, count 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna stick our hook into that 3rd stitch, and we're going to do our double crochet stitch. So now we can take another marker and mark just under the braid here. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to turn. So now we're going to do row 3. For row 3, we're going to do our chains, and then we're going to do our V-stitch on the puff stitch, and then we have our brackets again. So we're basically going to do the same thing. We're going to alternate our puff stitches with V stitches, and then we're doing a double crochet stitch at the very end. So we're going to complete this row, and then I'll come back in for the next one. All right, so we are gonna do the next row. I just wanted to note that I have used up that wad already, so we're now just going to continue pulling the yarn from within. All right, so for our next set of instructions, we are doing again a chain 3. So let's do our chains. All right, and then we're going to do our puff stitch, and it's kind of the same thing. We're alternating our puff stitches on our V stitches with the V stitches on the puff stitches. So all right, and then we have our brackets. All right, so we are going to continue this row, and then we're going to move on to the next set of instructions. So we completed the fourth row, and now we're going to be doing rows 5 through 15. That's a lot, right? So what we're going to do is use these markers. These markers are going to keep track of what we're doing. So this one that I just put in, we're going to call this row 5. So now we just have to get enough markers to get to 15. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, let me just double check. And I chose ones that are more open. It's easier to slip through the stitch. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. So no matter what happens, it's the same instructions. All I have to do is use up all these markers, and then I know that I'm done. So what we're going to do is alternate rows 3 and 4 until we finish all of the markers, and then we're going to come in and I'm going to show you how to put the edging on everything. Okay, so I've completed all the rounds, and now we're going to do the last row, doing the edging. All right. So for this, we have to switch out our hooks. Right. Now what we're going to do is, I put a marker, by the way, at the last stitch we've made. Okay. We're going to, oh, we don't turn. Whoops, sorry. We're going to chain 1, and then we have to evenly space out 25 stitches down the sides of the square. Now this is where you can use your markers to help you count out where you're going to put your stitches. Alright, so I'm going to go in here, and we have to do single crochet stitches. Let me show you how to do a single crochet stitch. So when we're coming in on the side, you want to ideally put your hook into 2 loops, however that comes about, because it is going to be difficult to find your placement of hooks on the side. So I'm just going to make sure I have 2 loops onto my hook. So we're going to do a single crochet stitch. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to pull up a loop. So now we have 2 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. It's that quick, it's that simple, single crochet stitch. Let me show you how to do another one. So stick your hook into at least 2 loops here. We're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop, and you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches. One more time with you guys. So stick your hook into the into your next stitch, kind of. All right, we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. All right, so we're going to continue this all the way down. All right, so now we have to go to a corner and put in 3 single crochet stitches. Alright, so we're going to go into the corner here. This would be the first stitch because there's about 27 stitches I think on here, so I don't know, but anyway, I'm going to go into the first stitch and we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. Alright, and then we're going to do another single crochet stitches as indicated in the instructions all the way down this bottom side. So like I said earlier, when we were starting out with the first row, when we put the hook into the back humps, we end up having the braid underneath here, as you see here. And a good thing about this is that now we have 2 loops to put our hook into. So that is going to make your edging a little bit stronger, in my opinion. So that's why I put the hook into the back hump. Right. So now I'm going to do another corner. And we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. Okay. Now from here we're going to repeat the same thing. We're going to even out all the single crochet stitches on the side, and then we're going to go on the top here and go back to the last stitch that we made for round 15, and then we're going to fasten off, and I'll show you how to do that. But I'm going to do this all in silence. So I completed the edging. We're gonna fasten off, and so what we're gonna do is grab our scissor and cut off about 1 inch or so. Then what we're gonna do is yarn over. We're gonna pull through the loop and all the way out. Then we're gonna tighten this up, and we're pretty much done with this. You can remove all your markers. Comment below, let me know how it went. Alright, so here's the finished square. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining me this week. We already have our 2 other squares that we did. This was the cluster stitch, and then this one was the half double crochet stitch. We've now completed the V stitch as well as the puff stitch. So next time when you join us, we're gonna move on to another kit. So save all these squares. We're going to be doing plenty more, and then hopefully we get to a place where we can then put all these squares together to make our Afghan. But I really love the feel of it. Comment below, let me know what you think. At any rate, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. This is Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.